Welcome to this week's meeting of the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. Each week we try to bring you a speaker who falls within our purposes of our club, which is innovation, entrepreneurship, and education. And we use technology as a means and a tool to further our goals. This week we are very fortunate to have Natalie Small as our guest speaker. And you're going to be very pleased with this speaker because I've been very excited ever since I heard about her giving her speech to actually listening to it. And at this point in time, I'd like to turn it over to Natalie, who is our guest speaker. Go take it away, Natalie.
Thank you, Roger. And thank you guys for including me in this. I actually first learned about Rotary Club through Surfers Unite Rotary Fellowship with Brett Morey. And through them, got connected with the La Jolla Rotary and the Point Loma Rotary because I live in San Diego, and attended some of their meetings. And I have never had a 7 a.m. breakfast where I laughed so much. And so it was just so much fun to get to meet people from all different walks of life with all different careers and passions and interests all coming together to learn and to grow and to get involved in the community together. So it was amazing to get to be a part of that. And then I'm super honored to be a part of what you guys are doing here, bringing people together from all over the world to come and unite and learn more together. So thank you so much for doing that. And I'm going to hop into sharing my screen with you guys. There we go. Perfect. Let's see. Okay, let me move my face out of the middle. Okay. Full screen. Does that work for you guys to see the whole screen? Are you able to see just the PowerPoint? Or no?
No, we still see the slides on the side.
Let's see here. You can see all the secrets. Let's see. Enter full screen. Nope. Back. Let's get into this again. Any pointers? Sorry to be wasting time doing this.
No, sorry.
I just had it going too. Let's see.
I'm not sure how to run it as a slideshow in Google Docs.
Yeah, it's new for me too. I'll just do a reboot. Press escape. Okay. View. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Okay, perfect. And so before I dive into talking about a little bit about my journey of combining my profession as an expressive art and marriage and family therapist and my love affair with Mother Ocean through surfing and sailing and ocean conservation work, I wanted to share with you guys a little clip of what I just came back from to the States from. So it was last week.
5 years ago, I came to Peru to hike Machu Picchu. I wanted to come and check out the World Surf Preserve, which is Huanchaco because it's the birthplace of surfing. And while I was here, I ran a surf therapy program for young girls at a local school. Through that process, recognized that there was very few local women in the water, but yet this is a town whose history and ancestry is deep with Mother Ocean. Groundswell in Peru is a community that's been built to heal, empower, and unite local women and girls in the waves and making surfing accessible to them, not just as a sport, but as a community and as an access point to dream and to recognize what they have and what they're capable
of. I've watched this probably 1,000 times and it still gets me all giddy and all the feels inside. Because 5 years ago when I went, I worked with this small group of girls who were part of a nonprofit that helped their family pay for $25 to get an ID card. And in order to like with an ID card, they were able to go to school. And so their families typically would only buy a $25 ID card for their brothers to go to school. And so the girls wouldn't get the same education. And so ran a 3-week program for them. And just within those 3 weeks, got to see these girls go from timid and quiet, barely wanting to put their feet even in the ocean, to full of laughter, connecting with each other, and really proud of themselves. And now, 5 years later, those same girls, if you can see my cursor, are right here in this group, and they were our junior surf instructors for the summer camp this summer, where they got to teach surfing to 50 of their peers. And so instead of getting caught up in the rampant issues of drugs and abuse, prostitution, and teenage pregnancy that is in Woonchako, these girls chose to surf, and it's changed their lives. And so my personal love to share and empower girls and women through surfing has taken me to Peru, Cuba, Mexico, and the Philippines. And during these trips to surf with local women around the world, while we'd be paddling out, waiting for waves in between sets, we would share stories of the hardship of often being the only female in the lineup. We'd laugh about really crazy wipeouts and bloody noses, and also share, like come into tears, sharing about how surfing has been so much more than just a fun hobby or a sport, but really a salvation from depression, anxiety, grief, self-doubt, aloneness, and fear. And it didn't matter what language we spoke, what neighborhood we came from, or how much money was in our pocket. Surfing was the thing that united us and brought us together. And so for me personally, the ocean has been a place where I can come and cry or scream when I'm feeling overwhelmed or heartbroken. It's been a place I can come and experience humbleness and strength at the same time, a place I can experience pure beauty and power. It's a place where I can practice overcoming my fears and self-doubt, and a place I can come to connect to my body and feel truly present. And so when I get back to the States in between these surf trips, I was working in a private practice specializing in depression, anxiety, and trauma, and providing small group therapeutic art programs for women in safe houses for sex trafficking and abuse. My clients would always ask me about the trips and how they were, and their responses would be something along the lines of like, oh, that sounds so amazing. Like, I wish I had learned to surf when I was a kid, but I'm too old, or I'm too overweight, or I'm too out of shape, or I'm too afraid of sharks. And so everyone had their packet of excuses and fears as to why they couldn't do it. And I realized women all over the world, not just in places like Peru and Cuba and the Philippines, women all over the world experience barriers, whether it be mental, cultural, or physical, that keep them from surfing. And that everyone, all of us, could benefit from the therapeutic power that surfing provides. And so the next art therapy program that I ran, I swapped out the paintbrushes and art supplies and got a bunch of boards and wetsuits and started the first surf therapy program, combining positive psychology, mindfulness, trauma-informed practices, yoga, blue mind research, and the expertise of others in the art and somatic therapy field to create what is now the nonprofit Groundswell Community Project. And so Groundswell Community Project, our mission is to heal, empower, and unite women in the waves through surf therapy and ocean conservation. And unlike talk therapy, where clients are encouraged to talk about their old traumas and old trauma stories, which can actually re-traumatize or cause secondary trauma for those listening, we surfed. And through surfing, these women were allowed to experience trauma triggers like self-doubt, fear, insecurity, weakness, lack of control, and anxiety in the waves. But this time, rather than having to go through that experience by themselves, they had the support, safety, and guidance of trauma-informed and trained surf instructors and therapists. This allowed them to build new positive neurological pathways in the brain, replacing the old traumatized ones. And so here you can see one of the women that we were working with going from extremely afraid, but with support, to just like full of smiles. And yeah, she was amazing. And then you come out of the water and you have all of your surf sisters there supporting you and encouraging you. And it's not about standing up or like doing one thing that's the right way of surfing. It's about getting out there, overcoming your fears, and just experiencing it and enjoying the whole process. And so the big shifts that we saw, or I saw, from doing the art therapy group with the same group of women as I was doing the surf therapy group for was that all of a sudden they had increased emotional expression, increased in community engagement, increased awareness of their trauma triggers, and they showed improved body and mind connection. I'm gonna have to move you guys to the side a little bit more so I can read the quotes. And so I have a couple quotes from different women that have participated in our program over the last couple years. And these are women from homeless shelters, rehab centers, safe houses for trafficking and abuse, and women that are getting out of the foster care system. And so this one today, for the first time in years, I felt strong, beautiful, and proud of myself. I never thought I'd be able to surf. If I can surf, imagine what else I can do. And there we go. And I surfed today, and I'm so unbelievably grateful. It seemed almost unreal to let go of so many fears and childhood trauma in such a nurturing environment has truly changed my life. And saying yes to surfing, I said yes to healing and yes to myself. And finally, I've been in trauma therapy for 6 years, and in the 8 weeks of Groundswell Surf Therapy program, I experienced an effectiveness and quickness in healing that even my therapist noticed. It's brilliant combining all these elements: surf, ocean, therapy, community, mindfulness. While one is busy having fun, Mother Ocean is sucking stress out of you. And the facilitators are right there holding space and so much love and kindness for all of us. Groundswell and Mother Ocean are quite a team. And we've actually had therapists reach out to us after the programs asking what we were doing and how we ran the programs and how we ran everything, because they were able to reduce psychiatric medications and reduce therapy sessions once their clients were a part of our program. So in learning to surf, they are healing their brain and body. It's more than just a new sport or a new hobby. Their brain and body are literally healing and reconnecting. And they're proving to themselves and the world that they can overcome their fears, that they are strong and capable, and that their bodies are more than sexual objects, but a resource for them to enjoy life and discover their true strength and beauty. So with that, this was our first group in 2016. We had 6 to 10 women that participated with us for the summer from Generate Hope and Shakti Rising Safe House. And 2 years later, we've served over 500 women in San Diego, San Francisco, Peru, and Cuba, and are launching a branch in Scotland, Orange County, and South Carolina this summer. We are hosting the first ever surf therapy for trauma recovery training in the world. And it's based off of our experience, data collection, and research done in our collaboration with our partners at International Surf Therapy Organization and UCSD Psych Department. And so our programs have grown from a simple 8-week surf therapy model to a community enhancing model. And that's really because the women asked for it. They didn't want to stop after 8 weeks. They wanted to continue being part of the community and continue growing their surf and self-love practice. So we have surf and service days and retreats. And this is an element of positive psychology. The highest level of happiness is giving back and recognizing that you have value and purpose in the world and you want to do something with that. And so we've run surf days for Syrian refugee girls, and the women that we've worked with in our 8-week program come and share their stoke for surf with these new girls in the United States. And we go down to Baja and work with a surf therapy program down there that teaches young kids in orphanages and with disabilities how to surf. And then we also do beach cleanups and a lot of ocean conservation and upcycling events in order to save the sea. Because once you fall in love with surfing, you fall more in love with your own body and with Mother Ocean's body, and you want to do something about it. And we also have our annual competition every year, and this is a surf competition unlike anything else you've ever experienced. It's all about wiping out and celebrating our falls and failures, because when we fall, we're inviting ourselves to grow and try something new. And when we fall, we also learn that it's okay to fall, it's okay to fail, and that's how we become our truest selves. And it's good to laugh at ourselves and have fun with it. And so, yeah, so Groundswell is so much more than a one-time surf therapy program. And we are actually the only surf therapy program in the United States that's run by therapists and for small groups of women and over continual amounts of time. There's lots of surf therapy programs that are a one-day program with amazing volunteers, and the work is very powerful as well. But our goal is to create a long-term change and giving women who have overcome trauma and are healing from that a community to continue to go back to, because PTSD and trauma isn't a one-time cure. It's something that we're going to be working with and playing with the rest of our life. And so to continue having community along that journey is all part of the process. So we're more than a one-time surf program. We are sustainably growing of empowered women around the world, choosing to no longer let past traumas control our lives, but letting each wave free us to live our truest selves in the world. And so at the end of every 8-week surf program, we have a graduation ceremony that welcomes them into their new surf sisterhood life. And the women are invited to gather around. We have this big kind of like beach quilt that women from all the different sessions have put their words of wisdom, their waves of wisdom onto to share with the women that will come after them. And so here are some of the quotes and the words of wisdom that they found during their time with us. It is okay to tumble through survive, and you don't always have to stand up. Let's see. It's okay, just play, just smile, just be you. I love this one. Love the ocean, love yourself. She's your mirror, and the reflection is beautiful. Ride the crest of love to survive the throes of life. And it continues on and on. The ocean is so full of so many metaphors that really help in the recovery to self process. And the graduation ceremony wraps up with each woman receiving a flower. And as the woman is handed the flower, the community as a whole says, "You make the world more beautiful." And she repeats that back and embodies it, saying, "Yes, I make the world more beautiful." And this is one of our surf sisters doing that there. And to see women who showed up on the first day full of self-doubt, body hate, insecurities, and fears, finally speaking and embodying this new discovered truth about themselves, that yes, they have value, they have a voice, they have a purpose, and yes, they make the world more beautiful, is like seeing a whole new person born, strong, empowered, and radiant. It's amazing. And so I wanted to wrap up my presentation with that practice with you guys, letting each of you know that by embracing, loving, and living your truest self, you make the world more beautiful as well. And so you can say that to yourself or out loud, depending on where you are. But yes, you make the world more beautiful. And there it is.
Natalie, would you like now to hit the share button again so that we can go back to our original?
Yes. Let's see. Oh, there's Anna. And
Hi.
It's right at the bottom of the screen.
Mm-hmm. Share. Let's see. That's it. There you go. Can you see me now?
No, now scroll down to the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and you should see the Zoom controls.
Mm. Mm.
Perhaps. No, not that one. Maybe you need to exit full screen.
Yeah. Well, I'm out of full screen.
I mean, full screen for your computer on
share.
your
There we go.
side. There we are.
There we go.
I spend all my time in the ocean. I don't do much on the computer.
Did fine.
Thank you.
And welcome, Anna, to being part of the group.
Thank you.
Hi.
At this point in time, we are at the question period. So does anyone have any questions of Natalie?
No questions, just a comment. It's wonderful. I went to college at the University of Miami
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
in Coral Gables. And so we were pretty close to Crandon Park and Key Biscayne. I wasn't a surfer. I don't even ski. I'm from Ohio. My sense of balance is so poor that I got kicked off the bunny slopes the first time.
That's impressive.
So I really admire what you're doing. And I actually work in a therapeutically informed field of coaching around money. So I fully understand all the issues of the traumas. And offline, I'm going to share with you some things that are really interesting about traumas and the way it impacts the brain around recognizing something's happening and what are we going to learn from that, because overly traumatized as a child, when we're an adult, we filter that out. And it's amazing what you're doing, because as you said, you're actually reprogramming some of the power centers of the brain.
Yeah, I love to think of it as like I have a hand brain. And so when we're born, these are all of our neurological pathways and they're connected and strong. And when we experience a trauma, our brain and body doesn't want us to experience that again. So it does what it can to keep us safe. And so all those neurological pathways separate in order to keep us safe because we want to avoid that situation. And so in the ocean, we're experiencing almost like little mini traumas, but we're experiencing them like falling over and over and over. But we're experiencing them in a safe space with support of others. And we're learning how to overcome that. And that's retraining the brain and actually rebuilding those neurological pathways back together. So that way they're even stronger than before. And so a lot of times with trauma, we're like, oh, it's happened to me. I can't erase that. It's a permanent thing that I'm gonna have to deal with the rest of my life. And yes, but the brain can be healed. We don't have to hold it in the same way. We don't have to be reacting from a trauma.
Exactly. As my business partner says, neurons that wire together, fire together.
Exactly.
Or fire together, wire together.
Yep. Exactly.
Anna, do you have any questions of Natalie?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Am I I muted?
Oh, yes.
You can hear me.
It's great to see you.
Good to see you too. Oh my gosh, it's been great. I don't have any questions except, well, I hope you're doing well. I hope things are going great. I just wanted to let you guys know I took part in one of the surf therapy programs twice, actually, 2 years in a row, and I was in a beach with Natalie in San Diego County. And the programs are excellent and like firsthand, and we were in United States, so I don't know how they went in the third world type of environment where there's much more serious problems to deal with in everyday life than we had, the group of us had, but it was really a great experience. She's an enabler in the community and a great connector and a great inspirer. So to get people involved and aware, and it's just really amazing to work with Natalie and to have been part of that. So just to vouch for what she's done and what she's doing, and it's amazing. And it's not even surprising to me that it's growing and developing and changing shape and morphing into even more. So it's really wonderful.
Thank you, Anna. I want to give you waves of love. This is one of our embodiment practices. Whenever someone shares, especially in a group of women, I understand you, I hear you, I want to share a story, I want to give you a hug, but we would never get to go surfing if we did that. And so we embody, I hear you, I see you, I'm sending you body, and you get to practice receiving them. And so I find myself doing that at dinner tables often. I'm like, oh, I'm not in a session right now, but it feels good.
I do have a question. The boards and the bodysuits that you get, are those donated? Are they available to you for rental? Because
everything's been donated. So when we first began, we just partnered up with a local surf school, and they let us use their boards and wetsuits when they weren't using them for their sessions. But since then, we have women dropping off their wetsuits all the time. And yeah, so it's all donated gear. We don't have a specific company that's donated boards. It's all community coming together and be like, hey, I bought a board, I haven't used it, or I bought it for someone, or let me buy this for you. And so everything has been donated. The community's been really amazing in that.
You might want to contact the Rotary Club locally and then see if they want a district project where they gather this up from all the retired surfers in the area and increase the supply of stuff.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Because we had
Just
Point
like
Loma Nazarene University donated all the boards that the students left behind one year. And so we had like 50 surfboards. And we were able, because of that, we were able to give, like at the end of our 8-week program, the women that were part of the different organizations that we were working with, we were able to give the organization surfboards. So that way the women were able to continue getting in the water.
Oh,
And
that's
so
wonderful.
and we can, as many boards as we can get, we can find them a home and make sure that they're being used and loved and helping women surf to.
Well, if there's one thing Rotary likes, it's a fun, easy, and non-expensive project. And going out with word of mouth and asking, hey, do you have any surf stuff that you want to get rid of?
Yeah.
I have the great place for you to dispose of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can get a speaker come in and even tell about how it was used.
Perfect.
We have a great contact, Brett Morey, who sent me to Silicon Valley Rotary because I helped him out with a lot of projects in Surfers Unite group, and that's 100%. Like I even left him my longboard before I left. I got a hold of a longboard from a neighbor when I was leaving San Diego 6 months ago, and she said, here's a longboard. I'm like, great, I'm not going to get to use it. Here, Brett, why don't you hang on to that and see if any of your Rotary projects and Rotaract and Surfers Unite projects can make use of that. And so I think it's also been useful for Groundswell. I think you've interacted with Brett. He's helped out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was how I first started learning about Rotary, because we had connected through surfing, and then the whole world opened up.
Yeah.
Natalie, just how many programs will you be putting on this year? And approximately how many people would be participating?
Yeah, our goal is to do 6 programs in San Diego, 2 to 3 programs in San Francisco, and 1 or 2 programs in Orange County. So that'll be our new beach that we're at. And then we're running year-round programs in Peru, which serves around 50 girls. And then also we're starting a program in Scotland and running a program in South Carolina. And so we will be about at like 350 women total this summer.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of, if you don't mind me asking, what's the, what is your budget like, and how do you raise funds?
Great question. So up until, if you can you still see my screen or no?
We can see you.
You can see me?
Yeah,
Okay.
see
Well, on my screen, I have our sponsors. So Patagonia,
Do another share.
Humanitarian Fund, Sawyer, San Diego County, and Beyond Real Estate have been our big donors. And we have received that through grant writing and also just community outreach and conversations and connecting. So one really fun one is Beyond Real Estate. If you buy or sell your home through the real estate company, they'll give us 10% of their commission.
Wow.
And so that's been a huge influx for us and a really big supporter of us being able to run the programs.
Right.
And then, but yeah, up until the first 2 years, it was all volunteer based. And we were under a $25,000 budget. And then I was running my private practice and doing the surf therapy programs. And we were just having so many organizations and women interested that I took the plunge and decided to move my practice to the beach full time. And so I've been doing Groundswell full time for the last year. And it's opened up so many doors of us being able to run more programs, train new therapists to run programs, this summer will be our first summer having trained therapists in trauma recovery that are partnered up with surf instructors, and so they will be co-facilitating the programs, which will allow us to grow and expand and offer it for more women. Because up until this summer, I've been the only instructor, and with amazing volunteers that help out with that. So we're really at that growing point. So our budget this year is $100,000 in order to really make everything happen.
It's funny, when you said you moved it to the beach, I had this vision of a cabana with 2 beach chairs
well, we actually
for therapeutic consultations.
We actually had someone donated us a short school bus.
Oh, nice.
And so kind of similar to that. It's a pretty radical. We call it the magic surf bus. We roll up and
Last question I have for you, Natalie.
You're the most enjoyable beach bum I've met in a long time.
Thank you.
Having been one myself.
Natalie, how do you define trauma?
How do you define trauma? Oh, that's
Yeah, because that is used, that word means something quite a bit different to me than it probably means to you. So how do you define it? So, because most of your clientele have gone through what you say a period of trauma. So how would you define that?
Yeah, I mean, trauma is anything that separates us from our true self. So anything that happens to us that creates a block or a barrier from us being able to continue living our lives the way that that we are fullest and most capable of living. And so that's when the brain goes off wire and is freaking out and wanting to keep us safe and keep us from harm's way. And so by that happening, all these barriers and blocks come up to help our brain and body stay safe. But in that same way, we're not able to actually actualize our truest self in the world. And so as those neurological pathways are reformed and reconnected, people are able to recognize, like, yes, I have value. Yes, I am safe. Yes, I have community. And yes, I am capable. And I should do something about it. And so that's the big shift, I think, or that's my biggest hope with the Groundswell surf therapy programs, is it's not just a one-time experience, but it's shifting your whole life into living, we call it surf sisterhood. Surf sisterhood is a daily practice of self-love, sea love, and sister love. And so it's all about not having to go through the healing process all by yourself, because trauma is something that isolates us, but recognizing that we all have our things that we're going through. Each experience is unique. None is like worse or less than the other. But when we're in the ocean, Mother Ocean doesn't see all those differences. Mother Ocean sees us as humans, and every wave hits us the same. It's just about what we do with each wave. And so we teach resiliency through surfing.
Thank you. Now, we're at that point of in the program where I would ask each and every member to remember to do two things. Number one, at the bottom of the meeting, there's a comment section. And please leave your comments and any questions that you have of Natalie. In addition, if you are a member of Rotary, please do not forget to fill out your attendance section of the meeting. And if you are not a member of our club, by putting in your correct email address, our club will provide you with a receipt for makeup, which you can give to your club secretary. Now, at this point in time, I would like to turn the meeting back over to Natalie to give to us her final words of wisdom. Take it away, Natalie.
Words of wisdom. Well, I mean, my final word of wisdom would be spend time in, on, or around the ocean whenever possible. Water is, there's a lot of science and research going on right now around the effects of ocean and water in general on our brains. And so if you have an opportunity, even if it's just hopping in the bathtub, spend some time in water today. Take a moment to feel it and experience it, and know that you belong and that you're strong and capable. And also I wanted to invite everyone to join us. In November, we do our No Plastic November Challenge. This is our big fundraiser of the year, and we invite individuals as well as companies and businesses and communities to join us in giving up one type of plastic, or all plastics if you really want to like do it right. And for each day that you live without like plastic silverware or plastic water bottles, you invite your community to donate $1 a day or $10 a day or $100 a day, whatever they want to do. And it's our way of encouraging the community to take part in saving waves. And then also by doing your donation, you're helping save women as well. And so it's a fun way to get yourself involved and your entire community involved in being the groundswell of change for women in waves.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was great.
Thank you for having me.
No, I'm feeling it.
Thank you.